Why do so many folks seem to drift out of your social circle after you hit 70? It's not always about bitterness or loneliness. Often it's a quiet awakening, a shift in how you choose to spend your days. You might find that the urge to drop by friends' houses or attend big gatherings just isn't there anymore. And if that sounds like you, here's the truth. You're not alone, and you're not wrong. There's a deep wisdom in this choice that folks don't often talk about. Today we're diving into 6 empowering reasons why many older Americans step back from social visits after 70. These aren't just about convenience or health. They're about reclaiming your peace, your energy, and your joy. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about living life on your terms, whether that's sipping coffee on your porch or finally picking up that hobby you love. If you've ever thought, I'm just not up for it anymore, stick around. By the end, you might not only get why you feel this way, you might feel darn proud of it. Plus, we'll share practical tips to make this transition feel right for you. Reason 1. Emotional boundaries. After 70, you start to notice how much emotional energy some visits take out of you. You expect to feel physically tired, but the emotional drain can sneak up. Chats that used to feel easy, like catching up over coffee, can now feel heavy, especially if it's all complaints drama or one-sided talk where nobody asks how you're holding up. You walk away not refreshed, but wiped out. Not every get-together feeds your soul. Folks might think you're pulling back because of age or health, but really, you're just getting choosy about where you pour your heart. Emotional boundaries aren't selfish, they're survival. You're done sacrificing your peace just to keep up appearances. That's not decline, it's growth. When you were younger, you were taught to be polite to show up, even when you weren't feeling it. But aging teaches you that guarding your emotional space is healthy. Take Susan, 78, from a small town in Ohio. She used to go to her neighbors' weekly potlucks, but they always turned into gossip fests that left her drained. One day she said, "I'm good, thanks," and started spending those evenings reading John Grisham novels in her backyard. Joining a local library discussion group gave her the meaningful connection she craved. That wasn't about cutting folks off, it was about protecting her peace. If a visit feels draining, try setting a 45-minute limit and excuse yourself politely. Say you've got a book waiting at home. If this hits home, comment 1 below to let me know you're with us. Reason 2. Time revaluation. One of the wisest things you learn after 70 is that time isn't something you toss around lightly. Back in the day, you might have spent whole afternoons at family cookouts or chatting with neighbors over the fence thinking you had all the time in the world. But past 70, time feels like a rare treasure, precious and personal. Every moment you give to someone has to feel worth it, not out of obligation, but because it lights you up inside. This isn't about being selfish. It's about honoring what your time means to you. Every hour spent visiting is an hour not spent resting, reflecting, or chasing what makes you happy. You realize there are only so many sunsets left to watch from your porch, only so many mornings to enjoy your coffee, only so many chances to tend your garden. That's not gloomy, it's powerful. Think of Tom, 74, from Colorado. He used to drive an hour every weekend to visit his old work buddies. The chats were fine, but they felt repetitive and the drive wore him out. One day, Tom decided to spend those hours hiking a nearby trail with his dog instead. That choice made him feel alive again. It's like curating your life like a masterpiece, picking moments that spark joy. Make a list of 3 things that make your heart sing. Maybe it's gardening or watching old westerns, and carve out time for one this week. Comment 2 below. If you're rethinking how you spend your time, reason 3. Emotional drain. One big reason folks stop visiting after 70 is the emotional toll of certain get-togethers. It's not about being antisocial, it's about being honest with yourself. When you were younger, you might have put up with small talk gossip or even subtle jabs at family reunions. But now, your patience for emotional clutter is wearing thin. And that's not a flaw, it's maturity. You notice how drained you feel after some visits. Not because anything wild happened, but because the conversations feel hollow. You nod through the same old stories or topics that don't matter to you anymore, and you leave feeling empty, not uplifted. This ties to emotional selectivity theory as we age. We zero in on relationships that feel meaningful and ditch the ones that feel like a chore. Take Mary 72 from Florida. She used to go to her extended family's Sunday barbecues, but she felt like a bystander as everyone bickered or bragged. She started inviting just her sister over for coffee instead, where they could really talk. Those moments left her recharged, not run down. Choosing depth over frequency isn't selfish, it's wisdom. After a draining visit, take 10 minutes to jot down what felt off. It'll help you spot which interactions to skip. Comment 3. If you felt that emotional drain before reason 4, physical energy. Nobody tells you that after 70, even a quick visit can feel like running a marathon. A trip to someone's house, no matter how short, takes more out of you than it used to. This isn't weakness. It's your body asking for a little respect. Your energy is a precious resource now. And you feel it not just in what you can do, but in how long it takes to bounce back. A 2-hour visit might wipe you out for the rest of the day. Others might say, you never stop by anymore. But they don't see the effort it takes to get there. You're weighing what your body can handle. Uncomfortable chairs, heavy meals, or navigating a steep driveway, these things hit harder now. Take John 76 from Texas. He used to drive to his old church group's weekly potlucks, but the long drive and wobbly folding chairs left him aching. He switched to Zoom calls with the group sharing stories and prayers from his comfy recliner. That wasn't giving up, it was listening to his body's wisdom. If a visit feels too taxing, suggest a video call or meeting at a cozy cafe near your home. Comment 4 below if you're paying more attention to your body's needs. Reason 5, emotional economy. After 70, you get how valuable your emotional energy is. Just like you wouldn't blow your savings on something that gives nothing back, you stop spending emotions on people or situations that leave you feeling empty. That's emotional economy. And it's one of the most freeing truths of getting older. For years, you might have put up with snarky comments, forced smiles, or shown up to events out of duty. But now you know your emotional battery doesn't recharge as fast. Stress sticks around, and you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You choose peace over being polite. Think of Betty 80 from California. She used to call her cousin every Sunday, but the talks always felt rushed and critical. She started spending those hours tending her rose garden where she found calm and joy. She also joined a local senior center's gardening club, connecting with folks who lifted her. That wasn't cold, it was self-care. You weed out negativity to let happiness bloom. Spot one relationship that drags you down, and try redirecting that energy to a friend who makes you smile. Comment 5 if you're guarding your emotional energy. Reason 6, self-respect awakening. There comes a time after 70 when you stop asking permission to value yourself. The need to be liked fades, and a deeper instinct takes over, protecting your dignity. This self-respect awakening comes quietly often, after too many moments of being overlooked or taken for granted. When you were younger, you might have mixed up kindness with people-pleasing, saying yes when you wanted to say no to keep the peace. But now, betraying yourself feels like the bigger cost. You skip invitations that feel like chores, step away from draining chats, and stop lowering your standards just to fit in. Peace beats popularity every time. Consider Diane, 77, from Michigan. She spent decades hosting big Thanksgiving dinners, always putting her family first. But last year she opted for a quiet weekend at a cabin by Lake Huron, reading and knitting. Her kids were shocked, but Diane said, "I'm choosing me this time." That choice showed her family how to respect her space. Say no to one small obligation this week and notice how it feels to put yourself first. Comment 6 below if you're embracing your self-respect. If you're over 70 and finding yourself skipping visits, choosing quiet evenings over crowded parties, or wondering why your social circle's shrinking, hear this: you're not broken. you're stepping into a wiser, truer version of yourself. Aging cuts through the noise and shows you what matters. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and not every invitation needs a yes. You're evolving, and that might mean walking away from routines that don't bring you peace. It's about choosing real connections over drama, authenticity over obligation. If others don't get it, that's okay. You've earned the right to live life on your terms, whether that's a quiet night with a good book or a walk in the park. Thanks for watching, friends. Drop a comment below with one thing you learned today, or how you're honoring your time and energy. Your stories keep us going. If this video spoke to you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next one. Let's keep this conversation alive.